Why yes, that is the 100% accuracy penance with no ammo left chest that I definitely earned 100% legitimately and did not cheese by turning off my Wi-Fi router towards the end of a mission and turning it back on so I could reconnect and reset my accuracy. I would never do that. I don't support cheating. Do it. Cheese it. Cheese it. Cheat. Cheat. Cheese. 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 Anyway, this video is going to be little tips and tricks for each class that may not be well known, some will be well known, and we're going to be starting off with the easiest one, the veteran. Alright, I'm in the damnation meat grinder here because I don't feel the need to get live footage for the veteran because there's not really anything crazy or special you need to know about the veteran. There's just certain things that, you know, like Reapers, obviously are good to kill with headshots. You know, like hip firing, like certified bro moment. But the tips I would say is for specific enemies. Like for example, the Marauder, obviously carapace on the head. Legs, no carapace, can do full damage. Can also do it to the chest. But yeah, so there you go. But I think it more applies to melee, kinda, since there's like that kind of reduced damage there. But see, as you're, you know, like you really like you're gonna be. It's just better to aim for the lower area because the legs and the chest obviously don't have the flak armor like the helmet. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the vet. The only tips I would say in game is you always kind of want to save one grenade. Oh no, those are tears in the glove. I thought it was clipping. Oh, yo, Pog. Now, obviously, you vet can regenerate grenades, but I always like to keep one just in case a teammate gets downed and you need to just throw a grenade on their body. But other than that, just huck grenades like no tomorrow until you get one. And I'd say you don't be the guy that says, oh, my grenades regenerate, I'm gonna not take the grenade box. If you need the grenades, take the grenade box. Like the Ogryn, yes, the Ogryn grenades are nice, but it is probably better for the vet to have the grenades unless the Zealot is out of grenades. So prioritize yourself over like characters like the Ogryn, or even if the Zealot has one grenade left, I'd say take it on the vet because you can actually clear hordes with yours. And other general tips is, oh, this is not a good gun to do it on. Hold on. Obviously, if your gun is a flashlight, if there's a demon host nearby, turn off your flashlight. You can just emptying ammo here. You can kind of sort of cancel your reload with a bash. It's not the most you know, reliable thing because it does take a while, especially in the bolter, but it can definitely help to stop yourself from taking damage at the last second. And obviously, because there's segmented reloads where your reload doesn't get canceled entirely, it's always kind of good to do. See if it's better on the revolver. Yeah, it's a bit better on the revolver just because it's a bit faster, but you can do that with any gun that has a bash. And that's pretty much it for the vet, other than kill the enemies that are running at you and all that.
I am heavy weapons guy, and this is my new weapon.
Now we're on to the next character on the list, which is the Ogryn, probably my personal favorite. And this is another character I didn't feel the need to go into a game to get footage for, because the tips are very basic. My first tip is going to be about your boxes. Obviously, these, you know, the lunchbox is a very powerful tool. You can get a feat that makes it explodes, which makes it really good for clearing hordes, or you can just keep this. But I will say, obviously, boxes do headshot damage. Now, obviously, headshotting a Reaper, especially in those high difficulties, like compared to a body shot, makes a big difference. But you can actually one-shot bulwarks through the shield just by aiming at the top of their head. It's got a very forgiving hitbox. Get it? Hit box. Now, for a tip about this feat, which is bombs away. Hitting a carapace armored or flak armored or unyielding enemy with your big box of hurt causes it to open, releasing grenades around the target. Now, unyielding, I don't know if ragers count. Let me just check real quick. No, they don't. Let me check the armored ragers. So the armor ragers count as having flak armor. But what some people might not know is that these guys count as having flak armor. So you can use this as a horde clearing tool if you need to, obviously, and the gunners. And I don't believe the dread gunners. Oh no, they're flak armored. Although by their clothes you wouldn't believe me. And obviously other things that count as flak armor are the bombers. Bam. And I don't believe the flamer actually counts. Let me just double check right here. We'll be learning together. Bleed. Yeah, no. So even though he is wearing armor, he does not count as being a flak armored or unyielding character. Now for the next feat that I'm going to talk about is the Blood and Thunder feat. This feat's like whatever. But the heavyweight, yeah, it's got, sure, but meh. Is obviously heavy attacks, you apply bleed. You can actually do it through the bulwark shield. Now that's obviously not the best thing to just spend all your heavies into a bulwark shield, but if you manage to hit one in a horde, you will be delivering bleed. Now what you might not know is that guns that have melee attacks will apply this bleed, and through the shields as well. So even if you don't do damage, you can apply the bleed. Obviously, because there's a stagger there, it actually is somewhat viable, so you can just pump into them after. This works for all of the melee variations, or melee attacks of Ogryn weapons, but it also, with the grenade gauntlet, because obviously the grenade gauntlet is a melee weapon first, you can actually apply the bleed with your heavies, but you can also apply it with your explosion punch. And obviously you can charge it up. It doesn't do any more damage, but it's cool. Hello? Emperor, is that you? Anyway, you can obviously apply this through shields as well. Now, the next tip, pull out my knife please, thank you, is the bull charge. Now, the feat I have gives me 100% distance on my bull charge, and I can't be stopped by elite enemies. Now, if you misuse this, you can get yourself out of position, and on those higher difficulties like Damnation or even Heresy, that can be real bad news. So learning to cancel your bull charge is what is my ability doing in the corner there? But learning to cancel your bull charge is essential, because you can use it to like, get off me! Ah, I'm in a horde, I need to knock some people down, I don't have stamina. You can obviously just run yourself into a corner or a wall, but what you do is, once my ability comes back up, I'll be able to kind of explain it a bit better. You press it, and then you press F and back. So you kind of stop and then dodge back so that you're open to assess the situation. You can just like spam F to cancel it, but I like to press F and back so I dodge back in case there's any, enemies that I didn't knock down immediately. And that's pretty much it for the Ogryn, other than, I guess I'll show that this melee works as well for the bleed feat, just for funsies. Oh, and this weapon will stagger on contact. And the grenade will usually bounce behind the bulwark if you hit the shield. Alright, well that's it for the Ogryn. I can't think of anything at the moment, anything else I can add, other than, box. Alright, well, on to the Psyker next.
Magic!
Now, I will be showing some live game footage because there are certain mechanics with the brain burst that don't work on the dummies. in the meat grinder. The first one is one that people might not know, is that you can use your psykinetic wrath to stop yourself from your brain exploding. Honestly, that was pretty much it. That's pretty much all I got to show. Oh, actually, there's one more thing I got to show. I remember now. I'm just gonna kill things until my psykinetic wrath is back up. Actually, there's two things. I just remembered another thing as I'm swinging on the enemies here. Now, for here, you can charge up a brain burst, use psykinetic wrath, and it will not cancel your brain burst charging, so as long as you are holding down the button. Now, let me actually get some peril here. Do I have the... what staff do I have? Oh, no, that's not the right staff. Let me just get a staff here to make it easy to show. So let me build up some peril here. Now, the quell speed on a staff is pretty quick on that, right? However... oh, I don't know why I'm switching. If you just swap to a melee weapon, once it goes down just as fast. So if you don't have the best peril quelling speed, like here, it's got, you know, almost like 1% away from max. But on here, where it's, you know, a little bit less, and, you know, let me just show it off. Sometimes it is better to just swap to your melee, so that you can just quell that way, especially, you know, especially if you're in a horde. Obviously, you can use your psykinetic wrath to just drop it by 50%, but sometimes it is better to... now, I should note this only works with non-force sword melees, because obviously with the force sword you have quell speed stat, which affects your quell speed. So obviously sometimes it is better to quell it with the staff, but if you don't have a chance, switching to your non-force sword melee will do just fine and quell just as fast, if faster than most force swords would actually, or even most staffs. And that's it for the non-in-game. Now let me go show you the in-game tips. To reiterate on my non-force sword tip, look at my quell speed when I switch to the staff. It actively slows down by a considerable amount. So just keep that in mind, you know. One general tip for the Psyker is not enough people charge their warp blast ahead of time, or brain burst, not warp blast, sorry. Ahead of time. Holy shit. Ahead of time. This can actually be really useful, especially you're going into a room where you expect a lot of enemies to be in, or you want something that you can, like this, watch this. Oops, that's not the bomber. See, another thing, one thing where if you don't charge your warp thing ahead of time, brain burst, charging it, eventually an enemy will get staggered. This works for pretty much all enemies except the Ragers, I believe. They are immune to the stagger. Let me see if I can get an actual enemy that's not fodder. Now, obviously, that doesn't work with charging, but just using it normally will stagger them. See that? Oh. Oh.
Okay. Grass grows, birds fly, sun shines, and brother, I hurt people.
And time for the final character on the list, obviously, the Zealot. Now, once again, kind of a straightforward character. There are some cool tricks you can do. But I won't be able to show you in the Psychanium. I'll have to get live footage, but I can show you little tips and tricks in the Psychanium. One, carapace armor damage. Pretty much any gun you have, save for the flamethrower, won't do that much damage without a crit. Now, if you use Chastise the Wicked, you actually gain armor pen for a short duration of time. Now, this works on the las gun, the auto pistols, the revolvers, although revolver already has armor pen. The only gun it does not work on is the flamer, because the flamer just does a flat damage. Now, another thing is, these grenades. One tip I will say is don't use them to initiate fights. Just use yourself to initiate fights. You're going to go and you're going to start chopping things up. You're going to be dipped out, dodging and dashing. You don't need it to initiate fights. These grenades should be used to save your teammates, or if you're being swarmed on all sides and you need to throw it down. Now, here's something pertaining to the bulwark that is a little silly. So if you're facing the bulwark on the shield side and throw the grenade, it obviously didn't get stunned. Wasn't even bothered by it. But if you throw the grenade in front of it and get behind it, for some reason now it works. I believe it must be a bug, but it is something to just keep in mind. And also, Chastise the Wicked will kind of stagger things on contact, but you probably already knew that. Alright, let me try to get into a game and get some clips of it actually happening. See, there you go. It was about to pounce. You use Chastise the Wicked, and it'll stop it from its bullshit. Right there was just kind of a perfect example of how to use the grenade properly. Obviously, I got fucking barrel launched into a swarm, so I just threw the grenade down to solve my problems until I got netted. General tip, I will say, if your teammate gets netted, 99.9% of the time, it's always better just go for the unnet right away, because it doesn't take long at all. And it's just something good to do, and it'll make your friends feel nice. Here's a tip for carrying the cases. If you slide, it's faster than just walking it, because you don't need stamina to do it.
Thanks for watching.